Before this video starts, big thank you to Amy, who was a massive help. I couldn't have solved this on my own. Whenever I talk about we, it's Amy and I. So this is how this video is gonna work. I'm gonna break down each level of the ARG. I'll walk you through what was shared and how to find the solution, and then I'll share my thoughts on each level. Sound good? Okay, so on June 27th, 2022, Owl City posted on his Instagram, and the game was on. Level 1. The post on Owl City's Instagram was of a briefcase with a radar in it. The briefcase was blinking two messages, one that solved for X and the other that solved for Y. Once decoded, it takes you to the website owlcityreturns.com. Y solves for Owl City because A stands for Adam and old with a strike through means young, because strike through means the opposite of old, which is young, and Adam Young, as we all know, is Owl City. Y solves for returns.com because it does. When you go to owlcityreturns.com, you are greeted with a password box and a submit button. This website becomes the main access point for the rest of the ARG and the place where you put all your answers once you have them decoded. With some further digging, you can find hidden in the source code some messages seemingly from Adam Young himself. Messages like, you can read source code, good for you, you didn't say the magic word, go to bed and wait for the next clue, or words like coffee table or chickens. Plugging those messages into the password field will send you to several places. Some would lead you to a 404 error page, others would lead you to an oops page, but only a select few would take you to a guest area page asking for another password. And there we waited. This level I don't have many thoughts on. It was exciting and straightforward. It built up the hype really well, and man, I was stoked to do some more. This puzzle was not super difficult and was a good introduction to the ARG. Level 2. Owl City made another Instagram post marking the beginning of Level 2. On a torn sheet of paper, you can see 3 candies, a cable, and a poem that reads like this. 3 is to blank as 1 is to blank. Cool off the tea and swapsy when able. Space is not welcome, 2 forced to 1. You'll shoot your eye out, kid, with that Red Ryder gun. Also on the paper in faint writing was an envelope, a magnifying glass with a struck through F and B, an X marks the spot with a link and a key, a crossed out number 9, and the words twice but different.
A pointy hat, a broomstick.
Hey man,
3 newts,
this is
a
really
lizard tongue, eyeballs.
The first thing to note is that the candy is actually toffee. With 3 toffee and 1 cable, you can put that into the blanks and some instructions start to form. 2 forced to 1 means that toffee and cable have to be one word. Cool off the T, the letter T? Can do, big man. If you swap the T from toffee and the C from cable, rather than toffee cable, you get coffee table. Now keep coffee table in the back of your mind. On the Owl City Facebook, he posted a link saying, this is a cool website. You're not slick, Adam! The last line of the poem was in reference to A Christmas Story. Drink Your Ovaltine was also written in the source code, so we were already on that A Christmas Movie scent. A fun fact, while searching for answers, Amy and I actually watched the entirety of A Christmas Movie in the middle of the summer. It was a good time. Anyway, that website that was posted on the Facebook, remember the torn piece of paper? Sends you to a decoder that was a plot point in the movie. In the movie, the decoder was set so that B would equal the number 12 in the code. So when you put coffee table into the decoder, you get this string of numbers. Which does nothing, but we were getting close. This is where Amy came in clutch. She had the idea that BB could also mean B equals 6, and depending on the right handwriting or font, a lowercase b could also look like a 6. So we put B6 into the decoder, and got these numbers. And we were in. Level 2 was decoded. Level 2 was the first real puzzle in my eyes. Level 1 had you get to the website, but Level 2 had you do some actual solving. This was probably my favorite level. I love decoding what the poem meant and solving to find the answer. I do think that B equals 6 thing was kind of a stretch, but it wasn't an insane deviation from expectations. It was enough outside the box that it was still solvable and made sense using the clues provided. After all that, we were on to the next stage, staring at a coffee table, waiting for the next clue. Level 3. Are you ready for level 3? Because, oh boy. About a month later, the letter on the coffee table opens, as well as 2 posts on Instagram. One reads, once forgotten, then obsession, life's a progression. The other says, minus equals 1, 1 equals 5, progression keeps going, he is still alive. Most importantly, Owl City shares some posts on his Instagram story. He shares 4 photos. A section of sheet music, a camera, a coliseum, and a city. Upon further investigation, the section of sheet music is from a piece called Pachelbel's Canon in D. The camera is a Canon camera, there's a coliseum, and the city is Indianapolis. So, Canon camera Indianapolis. It is also a reference to Pachelbel's Canon in D. And there's a photo of a coliseum. Both Instagram posts talk about progression. The chord progression of Pachelbel's Canon in D is a repeating progression that goes throughout the entire piece. It follows the chords in D major like this. The 1 chord, the 5 chord, the 6 chord, the 3 chord, the 4 chord, the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, and then it repeats. The actual tonal notes of the chords are not important in this case, but the chord numbers are. There is also a photo of a coliseum. Now, if you go back to the letter that is opened up on the website, you can see a whole bunch of numbers and other symbols on it. If you start at the very beginning with the minus sign and follow the chord progression numbers, keeping track of what numbers you land on, you end up with some coordinates. So the first digit is the minus sign, 5 digits after that is 1, 6 digits after that is 7, and so on and so forth. Also, there is a coliseum. Now, these coordinates lead you to the Castaway Island film location. There, Adam Young has left a review. It reads, "I am the bee. I am the best bee." Now, shout out to Amy for figuring out what the best bee means. The best bee means best boy. The best boy in filmmaking production is shorthand for the assistant. There is also a coliseum. The best boy in the film Castaway is Edward J. Cox. Did I mention the coliseum? If you type in Edward J. Cox on the password screen, which you can find by clicking the last number 7 in the 3rd row, you can proceed to level 4, the last level of the ARG. There is also a coliseum. Did I mention that? Did I mention that there's a coliseum? There's a photo of a coliseum. It's the next day. Level 3 would have been impossible without Amy taking screenshots of the Instagram stories. I was on vacation at a cottage with my family at the time and was unable to attempt to solve the puzzle when the Instagram stories were live. If Amy didn't screenshot them, we would have been stuck on the 3rd level. Level 3 was fun to solve. I got to use my music knowledge of chord progressions to find coordinates. However, I still do not know for the life of me what the Colosseum had to do with anything. Not a clue. I wrote the most butthurt in my notes at this point while the ARG was going on because of how baffled I felt with this photo of a coliseum. I don't get it. Everything else kind of made sense, but that. It was at this point Adam Young started to give us hints on his Instagram story, but they weren't really hints, more like actual directions on how to solve the puzzle, key elements and necessary information that was just given to us, rather than us having to solve for it. At this point, Amy and I felt a shift in the ARG. Don't get me wrong, level 3 was still a blast and made sense to solve, but the way that it was presented felt different. It's kind of hard to explain. It's as if they were changing the ARG while we were solving it. Level 4. My explanation for level 4 is going to be slightly different in the way that I want to walk you through the thought process at the same time as solving what the clues mean. The final level is another poem on Instagram that reads, "What's 11 for when this strong duo formed? She's anon, he's named, they unlock the door. His music led me in, his first piece joins the two, this equation for the win, I'll be there when you get through." This was it, the last level. Who knows what could be on the other side? We took it line by line. 11-4 is clearly 11-4, like a date. Wave Race 64 was released on November 4th, so 11-4. Looking into Wave Race, the next few lines are in reference to that game. There is a duo of announcers in the game, one male announcer and one female announcer. The female announcer goes uncredited and is anonymous in the game, but the male announcer is credited to John Hewlayton. They unlock the door could just mean the two announcers, but we're only half done and there is a whole second stanza connected to this. Keep John Hewlayton in the back of your mind. His music led me in is the start of the second stanza. The music of Wave Race 64 was composed by Kazumi Totaka, and Owl City actually played the opening theme live in concert. So clearly, Kazumi Totaka is an important key to this puzzle. His first piece joins the two is in reference to Kazumi's first piece that he composed music for, which was a game called X. So, to solve this equation for the win, we have John Hewlayton, Kazumi Totaka, and X. There's something you should know about what was going on while we were solving this ARG. At the same time that we were solving the ARG, there was a Discord server that was in the process of doing the same thing. So Amy and I made it a challenge to not look at the Discord server until we finished the ARG. However, none of our theories were working as the answer to the final question. After many different iterations of different combinations of John Hugh Layton and Kazumi Totaka's names, their ages, their date of birth, we came up empty-handed. The answer to the final question was Miss X Max Power. The answer Miss X Max Power was found because some of the words on the screen on the website that was playing Wave Race 64 were Miss X and Max Power. Amy and I ended up looking at the Discord server that was also solving the ARG. It was, in my opinion, a bit unorganized, but they had done it. They had solved the ARG. Now, I have no evidence to prove this. However, I have a couple of suspicions. You see, the first person to share the answer Miss X Max Power was a new member with that little green sprout icon. They also did not have any prior chats in the Discord. Owl City knew about the Discord. In fact, he was kicked out of the Discord once. I suspect that Adam made a second account, joined the Discord, shared the answer, and because it worked, more people were focused on the end of the ARG rather than the new member. To this day, I still do not know how Miss X Max Power relates to the poem that was posted on Instagram. Even after writing this script and following the notes that I made about the ARG, I still don't get it. Even looking at the photo, there was power that was found in two places, other words on the screen that could have been used, and the answer felt disconnected from the rest of the ARG, especially the poem that was on Instagram. Don't get me wrong, I had such a blast following this rabbit hole all the way down and solving each puzzle. I think it was an excellent way to promote his new album, get fans involved, and get people back listening to Owl City. But the final answer had nothing to do with the poem that was the clue in my opinion, please correct me if I'm wrong, so the final answer was a bit disappointing. After solving the ARG, you were either sent a postcard in the mail, or, if you were outside the United States of America, sent an email with discount codes to his new merch and scheduled times and links to listen to sneak previews of his singles off of the new album, which was pretty neat. Okay, so today is October 27th. It's almost 7 o'clock, and I'm about to join the Owl City livestream, or about to watch the Owl City livestream. The footage you're about to see is from the Owl City livestream. All right, let's do it.
Hey, how's it going? My very heartfelt congratulations are in order. I just wanted to say thank you, not just for listening to my music, thank you for that, but for playing along with the online puzzle that I've been having so much fun with. Thank you for joining me here, and thank you for making it to the end of the tunnel. Very proud. The first song I want to show you is called Kelly Time, and it's about being okay with not always knowing what's going to happen. It's about finding the strength to keep moving forward, to keep moving on, and it's about learning to stay optimistic about the future, even though it's always up in the air. Because if there's one thing that I do know, tomorrow the sun will rise, and you never know what the tide might bring.
Thus concluding the ARG and the release of a new Owl City album. Was the ARG fun? Absolutely. Could it have been improved? Yeah, I'd say so, but that doesn't mean it's a bad ARG. This was the first ARG that I had completed, and I had a blast doing it. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and let me know if you want me to do like an album review or something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye! I was on vacation at a cottage with my family at the time, and holy shit. Who wrote this?